Welcome to the eFresh.com flower, plants and bird news. My name is Mylène and these are this week's headlines. Economic recession hits Dutch floricultural sector. Liquidity crunch hits flower exports. Emerging markets need more credit for trade. Ferns climbed aboard trees. Plants' internal clocks may improve climate change scenarios. The economic recession and unfavorable rates of currency exchange are having a negative impact on the Dutch floricultural sector. Although the export of pot plants is showing recovery, export of cut flowers are lagging behind those of previous years. In March, export sales of floricultural products showed a slight increase of 1% to €507 million, thanks to a considerable rise in export of pot and garden plants. Cut flower exports dropped by 7%. Up to the end of March, export sales of florist products stood at €1.3 billion, which is 12% under last year's figure for the same period. It is anticipated that not all growers will survive and that some 300 of the 5,000 Dutch growers will face closure this year. Rwanda has not registered any flower export this year due to the tightening liquidity in the banking system and uncertainties on the international market, according to Rwanda Horticulture Development Authority. Last year, Rwanda introduced the One Flower Park project, seeking to pull together local and foreign investors to grow quality flower, mainly for export. Last year, the flower industry attracted 2 foreign investors, including the East African growers from Kenya and Maire State. The investors have since pulled out of the Rwandan market, citing the uncertainty on the international flower market due to the current global economic downturn. The decline in the flower business comes on the heel of government incentive extended to investors in this business. The global credit markets for trade facilitation are still tied up as larger economies pull their investment out of the developing world, creating shortage of the finance needed to carry out deals, according to a report by World Trade Organization Director General Pascal Lamy. Anecdotal evidence shows that the global market situation remains tense, with increased payment default and high cost of credit. Lamy said in his report to members of the WTO. At the last G20 summit, leaders pledged to increase the fund available to international institutions to lend out to countries in need of trade finance. Financial protectionism, a term generally referring to policies which push banks to lend more domestically, was also hurting the funds available to developing and emerging markets. Scientists have constructed a new time-calibrated family tree for fern, which has indicated that while modern tropical rainforests were becoming established, ferns climbed abroad and experienced a flowering of their own species diversity. Although the fossil record seems to suggest that ferns experience 3 distinct pulses of species diversification, analysis show that there was a 4th, roughly corresponding with the development of epiphytism. So as rainforests developed and tropical trees and vines clawed past each other to reach heavenward, they took the ferns up along with them. Thousands of new fern species evolved to take advantage of all new niches being created in the canopy. Today, epiphytes comprise about 30% of the more than 9,000 living fern species. In a new study, scientists have suggested that the internal clock in plants can help make climate change scenarios and CO2 level figures more accurate. The study reveals the ecological implication of plants' ability to tell the time. Researchers have studied the genes involved in photosynthesis and adapting to the climate. As much as 90% of a plant's genes are regulated by the circadian clock. The clock coordinates when a plant should flower and also when it should germinate a seed. The circadian clock has a great capacity to adapt to its physical environment. Plants take up CO2 by means of photosynthesis and can potentially mitigate climate change. The scientists suggest circadian regulation should be included in climate models based on the study of plant life in order to obtain better and more accurate results. Thank you for watching the eFresh.com flower, plants and bulb news. See you next time.